Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we are touching on the untouchables. The ones I haven't touched for a little while. Stop saying the word touched, honestly. I don't want to touch it at all, honestly. Kaylee Baldwin, welcome, come on down. Your time is nigh again, right? Because I haven't done anything. I haven't talked about the Baldwins for a long time, right? Because I did a few videos on them. It caused a little bit of a stir, and a bit of hatred was going back and forth and everything else, and it wasn't really worth it. I didn't feel at the time. It was like, yeah, leave them alone. Kaylee actually took them offline and decided that they weren't going to vlog anymore, and that at the end of the day was the goal, just to, you know, halt them in their tracks and not have them exploit their children, which is the ultimate goal for what we do on this channel. Right, so I decided, yep, forget about them for a little bit. And then a little birdie told me, like a few weeks after that, they said, oh, by the way, did you notice that Kaylee's back online and she's vlogging? She's back vlogging. And I thought, oh, for fuck's sake, seriously, I don't want to. Leave me alone. Sorry. It's just how I felt, alright? Can't blame me for not wanting to touch this with a barge pole. However, I've recently been made aware that Kaylee is inexcusably using her child's trauma, suffering, potential suffering, and everything else for financial gain, and just exposing her kid to, yeah, just no. I feel like it's not something that should be done. I mean, yes, raise awareness of a situation, raise awareness of your child being ill, maybe raise awareness for other people who are going through the same thing. Sure, right, do that, right? Don't put your kid on the internet in those situations. End of. That is non-negotiable. You know it to be true, Kaylee. Now stop acting the innocent. Definitely stop acting the stupid, right? Because you know, you and I know when you're not that stupid. I know that you've got a little bit of I was going to say dark matter in the great matter. For fuck's sake. Brain not quite functioning. Right, so Kaylee, what are we going to do about this situation? Well, what is the situation, you might be asking yourselves? So for those of you who aren't following this family, or if you are following the family and you don't know the situation, this is the situation. Kaylee explains it all in a good few 100,000 words.
But it started off with Friday night. We spent 7 hours in A&E with Felicity. So I got a phone call Friday afternoon. It was like half an hour before the end of the school day anyway, but the school office rang and said Felicity is well and truly at her pain tolerance level for the day. Did I want to go up and get her a little earlier? So I went to pick her up. She's just she's just miserable. Like, she's so down, and it's horrible to see my like happy, smiley girl get less and less herself as this whole thing with her knee just goes on and on and on. So she was in quite a lot of pain. It was really hurting her, and she was yeah, just really low and depressed. Sorry, I'm just absolutely fed up and in pain, and I was just like, I need to do more. I mean, I don't know, it's just that mum thing, isn't it? Like, when you just feel like you're not getting anywhere and things aren't getting better, so you need to try and get some answers. Like, I want the answers yesterday. So today is 4 weeks and what day are we on? Monday. 4 weeks, 4 days since all of this started, and there has been no change at all in Felicity's leg whatsoever, in her knee. It's still just as painful. So I took her into A&E on Friday night, and I said, I'm just gonna be that mum that's gonna sit here and go, you've got to do something, because I'm going to have to sort of like, you know, dig my heels in a little bit here.
Everybody paying attention? Are you bored yet? No. She goes on and on, doesn't she? And I've cut out the best bits. So, yeah, these are the best bits, right? The most relevant bits. Anyway, so basically what's happening here is that her 8-year-old child is suffering with a knee issue. They don't know what it is. She's had it for a while and she's in excruciating pain. And basically, she can't move her leg and she can't bend her leg straight and things like that, you know, and it hurts too much. And they're trying to find answers. Credit to them, they're trying to find answers.
So the orthopedics in A&E saw her, they repeated the blood test, which the first blood test she had, they did it on the back of her hand, and that all she had was like a little tiny pinprick. They did it in here, in her arm here, and she has got the biggest bruise. It came up in like a big blue lump straight afterwards. But yeah, she's got a massive, massive bruise inside her arm, and the blood came back normal, which is good, which is obviously what we want. We don't want the bloods to come back not normal, because that would indicate that there was something like some sort of infection or worse. So blood's normal. Orthopedics came and seen her and said, let's do another x-ray of her hips, because they keep going back to her hips and saying sometimes problems with the hips can then show themselves in the knee. So they'd already done a front view of her hips when she was in hospital a couple of weeks back, but they wanted to do the frog leg position. Well, by the time we got to that, it was like 10 o'clock at night. She was tired, miserable, tired and in pain, and the thought of having to have her legs spread outwards into that position was the fear. She was sobbing with worry, but she was a trooper as always. She did as she was, you know, as was expected of her. She went and she had the x-ray, came back clear. So then another orthopaedic came to see me, and she basically said it's beyond the expertise of the weekend orthopaedic team, and she needs to come back in on Monday. She already had an appointment for Monday anyway to see a more senior team. So that's where we're at. We are going in there this morning. It's currently about 9:45 and our appointment's at 11:15. Now, I don't know if they're going to keep her in. I mean, I feel like they should keep her in because they need to find out what is causing this problem and how we're going to fix it. And they're not going to be able to do that if they just send her home. So I would like for her, obviously nobody wants a child to be in hospital, but when your child's ill and they need treatment, then obviously you want them in the best place. So I want her to stay in and get more testing done. I'd like them to repeat the MRI because she has all of the symptoms of I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I have Googled and Googled and Googled. I know Google isn't always the best place, but I have, if you could see my search engine, it is literally just me trying to find a cause why this could have just happened. And all of her symptoms are of that what you would get with a meniscus tear. The pain is in the inside of the knee. You can't even touch the side of the knee. The knee is locked. It won't fully extend and it won't fully bend. All of these are like completely marry up with a meniscus tear. So then I'm Googling, obviously, like, can a meniscus tear be missed on an MRI? And then I get the answer that yes, it can. Only 70% of meniscus tears, more glasses that have been through the dishwasher, they're a funny shape. Only 70% of meniscus tears, was it 70 to something? 70 to 80? Something like that. It wasn't a full 100%. It wasn't like we will definitely find it on an MRI, it will definitely show. There is a certain percentage of these tears that don't show or get missed. So I would like today for them to repeat the MRI. That's what I hope they're going to do. And obviously, I don't know. And I might be completely wrong. I might be barking up the wrong tree and it might be something else. I mean, I've mentioned it and they have mentioned it and they keep saying it's not on the MRI. And we'd have expected to see it on the MRI. But who knows? Who actually knows? All I know is that I am absolutely beside myself with stress and worry about it all.
And this was ongoing, on and on and on and on and on, week after week after week after week after week after week. They could not find answers, and I felt so sorry for them. I felt absolutely, I mean, in all seriousness, I hope the child is fine, right? I do. I just doubt Kaylee's intentions here, vlogging it and things like that, you know, and using it for clout and financial gain, which in my book is quite a serious offence.
She put weight through her bad knee, and I, in the whole 6 and a bit weeks that she's been poorly, have not seen her in the pain that she was in on Sunday night. We could not manage it. We gave her a full dose of Calpol, we waited half an hour, gave her another dose of ibuprofen.
Then she goes on to explain how her child has got so many other issues alongside the main issue.
She's also got so much secondary pain as well now. She's got pain in her hips, pain in her tummy, bruises on her arms from the crutches, poor circulation in her leg. She's got so much secondary pain as well, you know, for want of a better word, because she is 8. She seems depressed. She's not herself at all.
To be fair, I would be bloody depressed, you know, if I had all those things hurting me day after day after day after day after day. I would be depressed too. I'd be bloody miserable, honestly. It's a wonder that the child is still ticking over, right? Because Kaylee seems to think, oh, I wonder why she's feeling down. Yeah, she's a bit depressed. I wonder why that might be. It might be all those little injuries and niggles that she's suffering from every single day of her life.
But I took her to physio yesterday, and the physiotherapist was able to see that one report was back. So they get reported on by two different people, 2 different departments report on the MRI. One report was back, and it said that there was no obvious problem, some fluid still in her pituitary gland and some swelling above the knee, but it needs a second report. So yeah, she started her physio yesterday. She did really well. They're referring her to the hydrotherapy pool as well for her to have some hydrotherapy, but I don't even want to entertain the things I've been told, because she hasn't yet had an official diagnosis. And me and Kev were talking about this last night because I was really upset. And Kev was saying, we can't, focus on these things until they are, until we've got an actual diagnosis, till someone said to us, this is what it is. But chronic regional pain syndrome has been bandied around a little bit more than I'd like it to have been. The GP mentioned it, and now the physiotherapist has mentioned it, because she has been 10 weeks now with no change in her knee at all. If there was an injury, like when you pull a ligament or twist something, it would have been repaired or repairing itself by now. You wouldn't expect to still be in exactly the same situation as you were at the beginning. So they have mentioned, the physio did mention yesterday, this chronic regional pain syndrome, CRPS they call it. And you hear these stories, don't you, about children that just wake up one day and they can't walk anymore, or they wake up and they can't talk anymore. And you hear these stories and you don't, those things happen to other people. Those things don't happen to you.
So it's been mentioned that it's possibly a condition called CRPS, which is chronic regional pain syndrome, which is basically where the child or person thinks that they have an injury when they actually don't, and it hurts to hell like it's an actual injury, even though it's not.
I was talking about Felicity's knee, and we'd gone up to the doctors because it had swollen up and looked bruised, and I was saying that the doctor had mentioned CRPS. So she does have some symptoms of CRPS. Her bad leg is often colder than her good leg. There is immense pain there, even though they're not seeing anything to be of cause of that pain, and it doesn't seem to be improving on its own. So although there is some symptoms, the symptoms she does have also are symptoms of there being an injury, and the symptoms that she doesn't have of CRPS, there's lots of them. There's lots of symptoms that she doesn't have. So I'm not really, you know, and I said at the end of that video, I don't believe that that is going to be her diagnosis. However, I did say that I was waiting to hear from the consultant about her MRI. That phone call, well, it was a very vague phone call, but I got a phone call Friday morning as I was leaving the school playground from the consultant secretary, because I'd rung the consultant the day before I took her to the GP. And it was quite a vague phone call. She said to me that she'd spoken to the consultant about what I'd said on the phone the previous day, and the consultant had said that she didn't think it was anything that needed to be seen urgently because there was nothing of concern on her MRI. She said that there was still some fluid present and some swelling, but there was nothing of concern. So I came home from that school run and had a complete and utter full-blown breakdown.
Well, Kaylee had a full-blown breakdown whilst her child was in absolute agony, but she vlogged about it and told the world about it and everything else. And by the way, she has been vlogging a child in pain, or, you know, on crutches and stuff like that, which I'm choosing not to really show because, you know, don't want to. But then they finally get the actual diagnosis of CRPS.
That yesterday we got the diagnosis that we had been hoping we would never get, which is that Felicity has a condition called complex regional pain syndrome. Something they've been like banded about over the last few weeks that I'd refused to even consider, because it's just not the diagnosis that anybody is going to want in their lifetime, and certainly not for their child. And the reason I want to do this video is because I am so grateful for having YouTube. It has been at times something that I've wanted to walk away from, something I just want, you know, only a few months ago I took down all the videos and that was it. I was going to be done. But I'm so glad that I didn't do that.
Kaylee. Fucking hell. Kaylee. Yes, you took all your videos down. Yes, you said you were gone. Yes, you said you were going to stop vlogging your kids. Yes, you said all this. And yet, still, you came back. All credit to you. All power to you. You do you, right? You do you. Because that's all you can do in life, isn't it? Yourself. However, when it comes to your children and vlogging them and, you know, filming them in distress and everything else, that needs to be put to one side and left off the internet, please. Okay? That's all that I ask, but still, you cannot do that.
The truth is, I haven't got a clue. Like, I'm learning every day more and more about this condition, and it's absolutely, it's terrifying. It's so awful, and I'm trying so hard to hold it together, and I say to myself, you know, she could get better, and some people have far worse diagnoses for their children, and they, you know, they're going through worse than you're going through.
Don't worry, Kaylee. I'm sure she'll be fine. Kids are resilient. I read that somewhere. Where did I read that? Kids are resilient. Oh yeah, on the Ingham vlog, you know, when the kids were out in the sun. Fucking morons. Anyway, different topic that. So, yeah, her child then goes to some form of therapy and to see if she can get better.
We're now doing desensitization. Do you want to explain to everyone what desensitization is?
So basically, you have a nice soft feeling. You put it on your good leg, and then you put it on the bad part of your leg. So Mummy's just been doing it with, she hates this, but she just did
Been doing it with slime. So
but Mum, Do you like this slime? This isn't stained.
I hate slime. Desensitization for Felicity is touching something on her good leg and then touching the same thing on the area of her bad leg, and she has to remember what it felt like on her good leg as I'm touching it on her bad leg.
Sorry, I said that I wasn't going to show the child or her on crutches, but just to prove a point, we can see here that the child is in fact being exploited, right, and used for views and everything else. She's on her crutches, but also at the same time you can see here just a few weeks later, she's not even, well, not only does she not need crutches, but she's just jumping around and you know, having fun like kids do, but at the same time, like, you can't bend a knee, you can't do this. Anyway, yeah, I'm thinking that none of this really needs to be shown. It doesn't need to be on the internet. You don't need to be profiting from it. Just, you know, leave them alone. And then there's this one clip where the child is like basically putting her full weight on it. It seems like she's fine. It feels like she's fine. Why are we still talking about this, in the sense that she's going through this horrendous experience? Yes, she's probably been through something bad, but I feel like she's getting better, if I'm being honest. It feels like she's getting better, you know. And when she starts running down the sand dunes, it feels like the worst is over with, and you don't really need to exploit her any further. Just my opinion, you know, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. So yeah, that is Kaylee and the Baldwins. What do you think of this situation? Do you think that Kaylee has gone too far this time? Do you think Kaylee should end her channel again? Has Kaylee been doing other things that I should know about, that I could talk about in a, as you know, just having a little chat about, really, and hopefully make her see sense? I can maybe put out a video or 2 or 3, you know, however many it takes this time, Kaylee. You know? But yeah, what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and until next time, have a brilliant day. Take care of yourselves, and bye bye.